I call to order this regular meeting of the Township Committee of the Township of Morris this Wednesday, January 17th, 2024. The time is now 7:01 p.m. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, and adequate notice of this meeting. How do I do this? Sorry about that. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, and adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required by law. Specifically, notice of this meeting was emailed to the Daily Record and Morris Newsbee on January 4th, 2024, and posted on the Township of Morris website. The agenda and resolutions for the meeting are available at www.morristwp.com under the Agenda Center. Certain portions of this meeting may be closed to the public for the purpose of personnel and/or other matters as outlined in the Sunshine Law. Notice to members of the governing body and township staff, any use of electronic devices during this meeting shall be used solely for the purposes of township business, and any communications are subject to the Open Public Records Act. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Mr. Griselle.
Here.
Mr. Gyorfy.
Here.
Mr. Ravitz.
Here.
Mr. Jonnada. Mayor Guariglia.
Here. Will everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have two proclamations on this evening's agenda. The first one is proclaiming January 15th, 2024 as a day for honoring and remembering the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We're not going to read through the proclamation tonight. I just have a couple comments I want to make. I was honored to share in the remembrance and celebration of Dr. King's 54th commemoration at the Calvary Baptist Church, and thank them for inviting Morris Township to pay tribute to our greatest civil rights leader and an American hero. His work towards freedom and economic justice does still exist in those who have the courage and the willingness to continue his journey, facing and overcoming every barrier along the way. Dr. King taught us to reflect on the principles of racial equity and nonviolent social change. He peacefully encouraged all people to embrace multiracial and cultural diversity and inclusion, and never stop working towards his dream of humanity. Reverend Dr. Jerry M. Carter Jr. from Calvary gave the keynote emphasizing strength of the dream, moving forward with hope. It was an inspiring message and one we should all embrace. At this time, I would like to turn over to Deputy Mayor Jeffrey Griselle to introduce the proclamation. Wait one sec.
The podium.
Recognizing January as Muslim Heritage Month. Deputy Mayor Griselle will read the Muslim Heritage Appreciation Proclamation into the record.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to call up to join me at the podium Dr. Chaudhry Saba Khan and the Imam from the Islamic Center. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody here, for joining us tonight for this joyous occasion. I'd like to welcome here Dr. Chaudhry, who is from the Islamic Society of Basking Ridge, Saba Khan from the Islamic Cultural Center in Parsippany, the Islamic Community Cultural Center, ICCC, in Parsippany, and Imam Adel El-Morsi from the Islamic Center of Morris County in Rockaway, New Jersey. I recently came to learn that New Jersey has become the 4th state in the nation to recognize Muslim Heritage Month. This was signed into law last year, and thus this January is the very first month that we are officially celebrating this in the state of New Jersey. I read an article in the paper where Adam Candle from the Islamic Center of Morris County was involved in making this happen, and I reached out to him. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here tonight, but he sent his brother and the imam to join us. We are very proud here in Morris Township that we are one of the very first municipalities in the state to be doing an individual recognition of this really joyous occasion. I'm a big believer personally in all of the world needs to figure out how to get along better for the good of everybody. We just need to learn how to do that in a better way. I am constantly working towards this goal, and recognizing Muslim Heritage Month is a step in that direction. As the final clause of the proclamation states, which I will read soon in its entirety, whereas celebrating Muslim Heritage Month is a step forward to building a stronger, more inclusive communities and celebrates the diversity of all religions, faiths, and rejects hatred and bigotry against any religious faith. The 3 organizations that are represented up here tonight have each taken steps to fulfill that mission of building stronger and more inclusive communities. And I am particularly happy to have Dr. Chaudhry and Saba Khan next to me because I've known them for about 2 years because of our involvement in a community group called Community Leaders Against Hate. And I laud them for the great work that we've all done together. I encourage you to join us in this mission going forward, but I'm proud to be standing next to both of you tonight. I'd like to now take a moment to read the proclamation in its entirety. It's Township of Morris County, New Jersey, proclamation recognizing January as Muslim Heritage Month. Whereas New Jersey has become the 4th state in the nation to now recognize Muslim Heritage Month, and that the state of New Jersey has designated January as Muslim Heritage Month. And whereas there are nearly 300,000 Muslim Americans in the state of New Jersey, and our state has the highest percentage of Muslim residents of any state in our country. Whereas Morris Township and the state of New Jersey benefit from diversity, and it is one of the best attributes. People of all religions and races make valuable contributions to our communities, which we must acknowledge and celebrate. And whereas Morris Township strives to foster understanding, appreciation, and unity among the diverse communities in our town, in our state, and our country. And whereas recognizing Muslim Heritage Month will allow us to show appreciation for all that Muslim Americans have done to advance our community and our state, and to pay tribute to this growing community. And whereas Morris Township encourages our residents and the broader community to educate themselves in the Muslim religion, customs, and traditions, and this recognition tonight creates an opportunity for us to all enrich ourselves in this cultural knowledge. Whereas Muslim Heritage Month will shine a light on the rich histories, cultures, and shared principles of Muslim Americans, and whereas in recent years, the Muslim community has been the target of an increasing number of bias incidents, and Islamophobia is growing in our country. And whereas it is crucial that we protect the rights of Muslims and ensure that they and people of all faiths can express their religious identity without fear of discrimination, of bullying, and by advocating for inclusivity and raising awareness around Muslim Heritage Month, we can foster a more welcoming and accepting environment for all Muslims and people of all faiths. And whereas celebrating Muslim Heritage Month is a step towards building stronger, more inclusive communities that celebrates the diversity of all religious faiths and rejects hatred and bigotry against any religious faith. And so now, therefore, be it resolved that the Township Committee of the Township of Morris proudly joins in recognizing the annual celebration of Muslim Heritage Month and continuing our collective journey as a community, in a state, as a nation, in honoring and deepening our knowledge of the history and contributions of Muslim Americans to our nation's economy, society, culture, freedoms, and values. And it's signed by the entire Township Committee here tonight.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I would like to present each of you to bring back to your respective communities a copy of the proclamation that was just read. So if you could pass it down, I have one for each of you. And one for you.
Thank you very
And
much.
so Ravitz, you can hold it up, I'll hold it up, and we'll take a picture together.
Yes, yes.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes. So I think a couple of our guests would like to say a few words to the audience.
Thank you so much.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you all. In the name of God, the most merciful, the most compassionate. On the behalf of the Islamic Center of Morris County, thank you so much, Mr. Mayor, for being the leader of one of the first township in New Jersey to celebrate Muslim Heritage Month. Islam is not new or foreign to the U.S., where it is reported the first Muslim to set foot on the shores was in 1582, and up to 25% of the African slaves were Muslims. Up to 5 million Muslims reside in U.S., making Islam the third largest religion after Christianity and Judaism. And today, Islam is the most racially diverse religious group in the U.S. with no majority race, and not a single nation constitutes more than 15% of Muslims in the U.S., with 3.5% of New Jersey resides. Being Muslim, there are over 150 Islamic houses of worship in the state, enjoying religious freedom and the equality of opportunity of justice. And thank you so much all again for this wonderful event. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you all. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum, all committee members. And having served on a committee like yours in Bernards Township many years ago, I want to specially express my gratitude for your leadership. For the very first time, there was an opportunity to take action, to recognize the importance of this Heritage Month. I really appreciate that, and I want to thank each and every one of you for being a part of supporting this proclamation. I would also like to add, for the benefit of our members from the Morris County, I happen to be from Somerset County, but as you all know, this is the very first opportunity for us to actually talk about the importance of the contribution that Muslims have made throughout history and continue to make. So I would like to suggest that for next year, we are going to plan a bigger event where I would love to have this township host an event where we can gather the broader community together from all faith communities. Whether we do it here or we do it at an Islamic center, I would like to suggest the opportunity for your leadership to be a part of that. Secondly, Jeff knows very well that recognizing the diversity of your constituents in this township and in the rest of the state underlines the importance of honoring every human being. As we just heard about the message from Dr. Martin Luther King. By the way, our mosque in Basking Ridge had a special event on the 14th of January, where the New Jersey MLK Commission actually participated with us to honor his contribution and his memory. Because I think it is so important that we recognize the humanity of everyone, that we are all creatures of the same God, same Almighty, who created this entire universe and all of us. And regardless of where we come from, what we look like, what languages we speak, how we pray, we are still creatures of the same God, and therefore deserve absolute dignity and respect, regardless of any differences. And I would just like to make one more suggestion. When there is an opportunity to perhaps introduce the pledge to stand up for the other, with which you are very familiar. In 2015, I had the opportunity to introduce a simple pledge, one sentence pledge, which is to recognize the humanity of all. And that if we hear anyone saying anything derogatory about a member of another community, that we should stand up for the other and speak up and challenge bigotry in any form. I wish one day we can come to this committee and have that pledge also recognized as a message that we can use in different schools and all of the other opportunities. So again, thank you very much for including us, and thank you again for your leadership. Great, and have a great year.
Thank you. Yeah, sure.
Would it be possible to take a picture with the entire committee? Sure.
Well, first of all, thank you so much. I would, Assalamu alaikum, everybody, which means peace be with you. I will reflect what Dr. Chaudhary here says. A special thank you to Jeff. It was truly an honor because this is one of the proclamations, one of the township committee and the town council who did it without even having a request made to you guys. So I truly appreciate that. It's just a true honor. So thank you so much, each and every one of you. And I'm particularly happy to see Jared over there because he's also our attorney in Livingston, which is where I live. So I just want to say a few words on behalf of Islamic Community Cultural Center, IC3, as we lovingly call IC3, because I always see three things: diversity, beauty, and love from IC3 to you all. Muslim Heritage Month not only recognizes the rich cultural contributions of Muslims, but also creates an opportunity for us to deepen our understanding of the religion, customs, and traditions. Celebrating Muslim Heritage Month in January is a step towards building stronger, more inclusive communities that celebrate diversity and rejects hate and bigotry. This is a significant step from you guys and from other townships towards promoting tolerance, acceptance amongst communities, and it serves as a reminder that discrimination and hate has no place in New Jersey. I thank you so much again. I really appreciate it.
Is it
And
possible?
one last comment. I think I left out that Dr. Chaudhary, if I have this correct, I know you're the first Muslim American mayor of New Jersey, correct? Is it
Actually,
the
anywhere in the
is it the
United States.
country?
In the United States.
That's what I wasn't
In
sure of.
2004.
The first Muslim American ever to become mayor in our country, Dr. Chaudhary.
And actually, I would like to invite you all to many events are being held, and there's one on the 21st of January at the DoubleTree in Somerset, at the DoubleTree Hotel. It's an all-day event starting about 10 o'clock, Adam, right?
Yeah.
Right? I think it's 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock, 1 to 5 or 7, yes. There will be a lot of activities where we will be featuring different cultural aspects of the Muslim community. And tomorrow evening, actually, I'm going to be leading a program at a public library, again, in honor of the recognition of the Heritage Month. And then on the 23rd, our Township Committee is going to also adopt a proclamation, inshallah.
Very nice.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Well, just, I know that you had asked if you want a photo, we could definitely take a photo. Again, the committee would like to thank Deputy Mayor Grazel for As you said, he reached out, and we appreciate your offer, and we will take it up to a year from now, try to do something that we would very much like to do that.
Thank you.
And we will stand up, and we will continue to reject hate and push towards inclusion
Thank
here in Morris Township. That's important to us. So thank you all for being here.
Thank
We'll
you.
get a picture, and then
Yes.
one more second, and I just want to let everyone know, we'll just take really like a 1 to 2 minute, 2 minutes after we take the picture, and you are all very welcome to stay and listen. But you certainly don't have to sit through the entire township meeting if you don't want to.
Very gracious.
Okay, so get the camera.
Yeah, sure. Whatever you want us to do. You want us to stand here? You want us to come down?
We stand down here and the up there?
What would you prefer?
We come down there?
We can come down there. It's probably,
Yeah.
it's a nicer picture down there.
I want to thank you. I hope you those every class.
I do. Every opportunity I get, I over to many on the entire legislature actually put that. And I'm now working on trying to get the governor. And let's do it again, because it's been 4 years now.
We take that very seriously.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, please, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, Sister Heather, give me a chance. Sorry. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you.
Do they want the boxes?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
Do you want the box? Just
Thank you for coming. You all.
safe.
You know, this is only a few minutes in your.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
This meeting is being recorded.
We'd like to now move on to the public commentary. There are currently 5 members of the public joining us on Zoom. At this time, we will open the meeting to the public comment. We will take comments from in-person attendees first and then switch over to Zoom. Please virtually raise your hand in Zoom to indicate if you would like to speak. Please state your name and address for the record before speaking. Please note that comments are limited to 5 minutes per speaker. If you have questions you would like answered, your remaining time to speak will be yielded back for this purpose. Is there a motion to open the public comment?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Are there any members in the audience that would like to speak?
Yes, good evening and Happy New Year to everybody. My name is Patricia Sims, and I am with the Morris Township Office of Emergency Management, and I'm also here on behalf of the Morris Township Firemen's Mutual Benevolent Association. And we just wanted to say, and thank you to the Township Committee again for your support for us as we're doing our Roses fundraiser again this year to be held at the Hillside Firehouse on February 12th, 13th, and 14th. So, like I said, we just appreciate all your support for us. Thank you and Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Mayor, they have the best flowers in town and the best deal in town.
Wait a minute, he's a shill.
But no, I have to tell you, actually, number one, we appreciate all that you do and what everybody, but we actually went last year for the first time. And my husband, I didn't make him. He ended up buying 2 bouquets of roses.
Oh,
So I
thank
know
you.
how great the flowers are there.
Yeah, we enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
It's so many comments from the neighborhood. They're like, thank you for doing this, because basically we have everything there. The vases, we do the arrangements, candy cards. So it's one-stop shop, but we appreciate your support. And we enjoy doing everything for the township as volunteers. Yes, they are. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. I turn down the bad ones before they come. So We search out the good ones. So hopefully
Correct.
they'll be beautiful again as they were last year. All right. Thank you. Have a good
Thank you
night.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patty.
And Mayor, it's a definition of a win-win situation because you get roses for your loved one, but you're also supporting the community because all the proceeds go to support the OEM, right? FMBA. Thank you so much for all the work you do.
Very much appreciated. And you too, don't feel obligated that you have to sit through the entire meeting. You're very welcome, but I do not see any hands raised. Oh, Pam Watson. Okay. Pam?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
My name
Yes,
is
go.
Pam Watson. My address is 2 Quarry Road, Unit D, in Morris Township. And I would like to thank you and all the committee members for the proclamation and acknowledgement of the Muslim Heritage Month. I'm very proud to hear that. And also, I'm very proud of the mentioning of Dr. Martin Luther King and the celebration on Monday, January 15th. I am very thankful for this committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. We appreciate it. And again, thank you for all your efforts. You are actually, a shining star in our community. And over the years, you've done so much to contribute to Morris Township. And you are certainly someone who every day of your life continues to work towards including people and welcoming people to the community. So we thank you as well. Seeing no other members in the public wishing to speak and no other hands raised on Zoom, will someone make a motion to close the public comment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next, we'll move to the ordinances we have. We have two for introduction on tonight's agenda. Madam Clerk, please read the title of the first ordinance into the record.
Ordinance 01-24, bond ordinance providing for $1,130,000 by the Township of Morris, appropriating $1,130,000, therefore including various grants in the aggregate amount of $1,130,000 expected to be received and authorizing the issuance of $500,000 bonds or notes of the township to finance part of the costs thereof. Note, grant funding appropriation for Collinsville Tucker Park renovation project.
May I have a motion to introduce ordinance number 01-24?
Mayor, I'll make that motion.
And I'll second it.
Thank you. Is there any discussion or any questions on this ordinance? Hearing none, the public hearing and final, Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote?
Mr. Gyorfy,
Yes.
Mr. Ravitz,
Yes.
Mr. Gazelle,
Yes.
Mr. Jonnada, Mayor Guariglia.
Yes. The public hearing and final consideration and adoption of ordinance number 01-24 will be held at the next regular Township Committee meeting on Wednesday, February 21st, 2024 at 7:00 p.m. Madam Clerk, please read the title of the second ordinance into the record.
02-24, an ordinance of the Township Committee of the Township of Morris, authorizing the purchase of that certain property known as Block 901, Lot 6, in the Township of Morris, County of Morris, State of New Jersey. Note, purchase of State School, 15 Jean Street.
May I have a motion to introduce ordinance number 02-24?
Mayor, I'll make that motion.
And I'll second it.
Thank you. Is there any discussion or any questions on this ordinance? Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call?
Mr. Gyorfy.
Yes.
Mr. Ravitz.
Yes.
Mr. Gazelle.
Yes.
Mr. Jonnada. Mayor Guariglia.
Yes. The Public hearing and final consideration and adoption of ordinance number 02-24 will be held at the next regular Township Committee meeting on Wednesday, February 21st, 2024 at 7 p.m. Deputy Mayor Griselle?
Thank you. So I did have a question just for the edification of the public. How long do we have to close on this deal, and when do we expect to take ownership?
Mayor?
Go ahead.
Deputy Mayor, so the contract that was just in, so this is an ordinance, and the contract has to be approved by ordinance because it deals with real property and the purchase of real property. The contract provides that we have 90 days to close following the adoption of the legislation. So if this committee were to adopt the ordinance at its next meeting, closing should take place 90 days from that date. And I will defer to Mr. Quinn as to the financing.
I didn't ask about
Oh, yeah, I
financing.
think it's on closing.
I just thought about when we would take possession. That's all.
So
that would be at closing.
It would be within 90 days of February
Mhm.
at the latest.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cantor. We now will move to the resolutions. We have 41 resolutions on tonight's agenda. However, we have 2 additional ones that we're adding. So numbers 14-24 through 53-24. Do we add these first?
Yeah, how do you,
Yes.
as a block?
So,
Go ahead, Mr. Cantor.
so coming out of closed session, we have 2 additional resolutions to be added to the agenda, which were added based on those discussions in closed session. And Madam Clerk, if you could please read those 2 resolutions by number and title for the public.
Sure. Resolution 54-24, authorizing settlement of Wimcor Portfolio Owner LLC by MetLife, tenant versus Township of Morris, Block 8404, Lot 5, 334 Madison Ave. 55-24, authorizing settlement of Columbia Road Partners LLC versus Township of Morris, Block 9003, Lot 10, 65 Columbia Road.
So now, may I have a motion to approve resolution numbers 14-24 through 55-24 by one motion?
I'll move those in a block.
I'll second that.
Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call?
Mr. Griselle,
Yes.
Mr. Gyorfy,
Yes.
Mr. Ravitz,
Yes.
Mr. Jonnada,
Yes.
Mayor Guariglia.
Yes. Next on the consent calendar, we have 3 items on the calendar this evening. Can I have a motion to approve the items on the consent calendar?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
The 3 items on the consent calendar are the Morris Township Emergency Management Association requesting use of the Hillside Firehouse for the annual Roses fundraiser on 2/11 through 2/14, 2024. Approval for permanent appointment of Patrol Officer George Chanturia, and approval for permanent appointment of Patrol Officer Kevin Smith. Next is a consideration of monthly reports. We have received reports for November 2023 from Police, Fire, and the Morris Township Library, and December 2023 Tax Department, Police, and the Joint Court. Can I have a motion to approve the monthly reports?
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Claims for payment, list of bills and vouchers. The total amount of bills and vouchers for this meeting is $8,823,474.54. We are also the tax collector for the school district, the library, and the county. May I have a motion to approve the list of bills and vouchers?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call?
Mr. Griselle,
Yes.
Mr. Jonnada,
Yes.
Mr. Gyorfy,
Yes.
Mr. Ravitz.
Yes.
Mayor Guariglia.
Yes. At this time, we'll move into our standing committee reports and commentary by the Township Committee. And I would like to start with Committeeman Jonnada.
Thank you, Mayor. Since I've just started, I just went to 2 meetings. I went to the DPW, Department of Public Works budget meeting, and I went to the Environmental Commission meeting. And the DPW has done an awesome job, I think. Especially the last couple of storms that we had. If you noticed, you heard the plows late at night into the morning, and they've cleared the roads commendably, and there's another one coming up. And we had an Environmental Commission meeting last week. We had 2 new associate members, which I commend them for volunteering to join, to do that. And as a plug, like to open other members of the public to participate in the township, in commissions and committees that we hold. And the Environmental Commission is just beginning of the year. I think they're looking into items such as tree ordinances and stormwater management ordinances. So, but they have many other things. I think just recently they held a poster contest, a school poster contest, and they had 4 winners, but they're all winners. If you've seen the posters, and those posters are going to be displayed from next month on till I think summertime, to school time, and you can see how the students in our area. These are all area schools, not just the public schools, but our private schools and charter schools as well. And we had a good showing of people of different, from grade school to middle school, and I encourage the public to come to the township to see the posters and be encouraged by that. And on to my own comments. I'd like to, since I am a history buff, I tend to want to encourage to know about local history. So in the future, I wanted to talk about the local neighborhoods, and I want people in those neighborhoods to let me know about them so I can tell them about that. But my first comment is more apropos of what we had this week in the 2 ordinances. And it's just to note that every August, Touro Synagogue in Newport, Rhode Island has a commendation as a celebration of a letter written to them from President George Washington, written in 1790, in August of 1790. And this letter was to commend them for celebrating celebrating his presidency, but most importantly, he was answering their letter of what does the Jewish people in this new country have in this new nation? What role do they play? And President Washington wrote this letter to the Jewish people, where he assured them that as long as they are loyal and productive citizens, they and all people living in the United States are assured equal status, and that bigotry will be given no sanction and persecution will be given no assistance. And this letter reflects American values. Cynics will claim that bigotry and persecution are American values, but I would argue that those are ugly centuries-old traditions which have been inherited, but Washington, with his letter, states that those are not values that this new nation will uphold. And he was reflecting, this is reflected in our own time. So he was saying this 1 year before the Bill of Rights was even passed. And the Bill of Rights has the First Amendment, which gave us freedom of religion, among other freedoms. And this is reflected in our own time, not just with the 3 Muslims Heritage Month here, with the 3 people who came here, but within a 20-mile radius of our town, there are many places of worship of many religions, not just all the religions, but the different denominations and sects and traditions. And within the Muslim community itself, they have Sunni mosques, Shia mosques, and even Sufi. and of course, Jewish communities of the Orthodox, Conservative, Reformed, and never mind the many different Christian religions, Christian churches around there. I won't even mention the Hindu religions because this community itself is very open and very tolerant, and it shows how we are very open, and in spite of all the things that we're hearing abroad, in this country, we are showing a different side of ourselves when we have that. It's in this state and in this community. And President Washington's letter codifies this freedom of religion before it was codified in the Constitution. So when we reflect on the Founding Fathers, we should remember that the values that they held are still with us, and that they brought us these things that we continue to this day, and hope that the world will emulate us. So thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Jonnada, little did we know, and all the residents know, that now that you are on the committee, we get a little history lesson once a month, which is fabulous. So please continue doing that. It's appreciated. Committeeman Ravitz.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone in the audience, on Zoom, on YouTube. Thank you for your participation in our local community government. National politics may get all the spotlight, but it's typically what we do here locally that has the biggest impact, economic and quality of impact of the quality of your life that you'll realize. I don't have really any committee reports. It's early in the year. We're still doing budgeting. As the year goes on, I will update the public with what we're doing in the standing committees that I head up. Just as a quick note, if you haven't already signed up for the Municipal Messenger to receive all the information and announcements from the township, please do so. If you know folks that don't do it, haven't signed up, please encourage them to sign up. It's the best way for the township to communicate with residents. For my commentary tonight, Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King stated, "I am convinced that men hate each other because they fear each other, and they fear each other because they don't know each other, and they don't know each other because they don't communicate with each other, and they don't communicate with each other because they are separate from each other." And I think that that's been a theme of the night through the Muslim Heritage presentation, the proclamation, and what Committeeman Jonnada has been saying, and what we espouse up here on the dais. Since taking a seat here on the dais in 2020, I've spoken at length about diversity and inclusivity. And I want to thank my colleague Jeff Grazel for the proclamation recognizing January as Muslim Heritage Month in New Jersey. Morris Township is a diverse community, and the heritage and culture of all groups adds to the wonderful mosaic of our experience here. We celebrate what each and every culture adds to our own. We will also never accept hatred in speech or actions. And to that end, next month's Township Committee meeting, I will read a proclamation that I wrote that is, unfortunately, all too poignant in today's social climate. I will be addressing the growing anti-Semitic hate speech and criminal activity that has seen such a dramatic uptick in our country and throughout the world. While instances of anti-Semitism may not be a problem in our community today, I think it's important to denounce these acts in a public way. Regardless of our political views, we must relearn how to talk to each other and not at each other. And in this conversation, we will find our common ground. Dr. King also said that our lives begin and end the day we become silent about things that matter. Thus, we here up on the dais speak up when it matters. And the Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King stated, "It may be true that morality cannot be legislated, but behavior can be regulated. It may be true that the law cannot change the heart, but it can restrain the heartless. It may be true that the law can't make man love me, but it can restrain him from lynching me." And I think that that's pretty important. And as always, I like to end my commentary with this. Let's not marginalize or demonize the people who have less political or economic power than that some of us now currently enjoy. Rather, let's face up to and stand up to those who continue to profit from our division. Equal rights for all citizens doesn't diminish the rights of any other citizens. We have more in common than should ever divide us, which we'll rediscover when we talk to each other. Amplifying misinformation, hateful or violent rhetoric is not part of any civil society. And lastly, let's remember that as we go about our business each and every day, to be kind to ourselves and be kind to others, because kindness matters. Mayor?
Thank you, Committeeman Ravitz. And now Committeeman Gyorfy.
Thank you, Mayor Guariglia. I too would like to thank our DPW workers for working hard throughout the past few storms and the upcoming storms. They work countless hours while we're all sleeping at night in tough conditions. So I just want to thank all of them for their hard work. Like the other members of the committee, I'd also like to recognize and thank the committee's support for recognizing Muslim Heritage Month in the proclamation. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Grazel, for spearheading that effort and organizing tonight's presentation. I'd also like to thank Mayor Guariglia for her comments on the observance of Martin Luther King Day earlier this week, which I was not able to attend, unfortunately, this year, but I know the Martin Luther King Observance Committee always does a fantastic job with their events and their observance of the holiday. And I also wanted to mention and give a shout out that we have someone who we've recognized for in the past, Dr. Felicia Jamison, who's one of the founders of the Observance Committee and is a longtime township resident and a neighbor of mine who lives up the street, and just the township's involvement from and support of this group for such a long time. So I wanted to commend them on all of their good work. As a member of the Finance Committee, and as the mayor knows, we have a lot of finance meetings going through each department for preparing our budget this year. It was nice to sit in my first meeting with our newest member, Committeeman Jonnada, going over the DPW budget. Mr. Ravitz and I will be going through the Parks and Rec budget soon. And I know we have many more meetings, so I just wanted to thank Administrator Tim Quinn on all of his hard work sitting through all these meetings and putting them all together, as well as all of our department heads for putting everything together for our review. Earlier on the agenda and under our ordinances, members of the public may have noticed that we introduced a bond ordinance for the funding of the Collinsville Playground. And as a reminder too, for everyone, this is a huge project that is getting substantial funding from outside of Morris Township, with $1 million in federal funding, $500,000 in state funding, and then the remaining amount being covered by the township. But this is a really exciting time. It's been a long time coming. This has taken us a few years to get all the funding sources together and the planning together. And Mr. Ravitz and I went through all the plans with Bill Fulsch and Tim and his team and NV5, our consultants, last year, putting all the plans together. And I'm hopefully we'll be able to show those final plans to the public in the coming weeks and going to bid soon too. And I did want to recognize our Parks and Rec Director, Bill Fulsch, who's always joining us on Zoom tonight. Thank you, Bill, for all of your hard work getting us to this point and to get shovels in the ground in Collinsville this year. Lastly, I just wanted to note too, we had the ordinance for introduction on Jean Street School. As many residents know, we had an announcement last December about our purchase of the school to turn into a community center. I did want to just mention that the governor did sign that legislation that was passed by the state Senate last year. So hence why we're able to introduce this ordinance to do the final purchase. So there are exciting times in the township, but with all that, we also have to make sure we have a sound budget and we're making the right decisions from a financial perspective. So all of those things will be occupying me in the next few weeks, and as they will for the rest of the Township Committee. But with that, that's all I have to report, Mayor.
Thank you, Committeeman Gyorfy. And again, just want to highlight that it's due to your outstanding efforts on both of those, the Jean Street and Collinsville, that they are where they are. And I would like to say we'll guarantee that the day those shovels go in the ground at Collinsville, hopefully the sun will be shining and it'll be a really nice day for everybody. Deputy Mayor Grazel.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I would like to thank Committeeman Jonnada for that little bit of history, particularly poignant given the language of the Muslim Heritage Month proclamation we read tonight. And I too am looking forward to possibly a monthly lesson. So you might be on the hook going forward, Siva. I too would like to thank the DPW workers for all their hard work in keeping our roads safe through that ice. Last week, I participated in meetings of the Environmental Commission and the Economic Development Advisory Commission. EDAC, as we call it, has a couple of openings. So if there are any members of the public out there listening who might have an interest, I encourage you to fill out a volunteer application and would welcome you to join that committee. We adopted a bid for the Gregory Kennedy and Pine Street construction project last month. We didn't get to talk about it because of the rush at the end of the meeting trying to get to Kathy Wilson's celebration, but I did want to mention that we accepted that bid and we look forward to the project commencing in the spring. Last month, we also had an emergency appropriation for an issue on Mountainside Drive. A corrugated pipe underneath the roadway had collapsed and thus causing the road around it to collapse. Tim, is that repair complete?
Just starting, sir.
Just starting now.
There are actually 2 locations for the pipe, and it's just starting.
Just starting now.
It's just
So,
awarded now, so.
okay, so that work is underway. Reporting on the sewer department, Mark Howarth, our longtime sewer plant superintendent, retired at the end of last year, and I would like to welcome our new superintendent, Eric Alverson. Welcome to the team here in Morris Township, Eric. The important clarifier project that I've been mentioning for several months at the Woodland Sewer Treatment Plant was completed ahead of schedule. So thank you for everybody who had their hand in getting that work done quickly. On the agenda tonight was a second clarifier project. So we have 2 clarifiers at Woodland. And now that one has been fixed, we are going to, and they're the same age, we're going to go ahead and fix the second clarifier so that they're all brand new. Pump replacement at Mendham Road Pump Station is going to be taking place soon, as well as another, and that's another sewer project ongoing. For the police, I want to congratulate the officers, George Chanteria and Kevin Smith, on their permanent appointments to our police department after completing their 1-year probationary periods. That was on our consent calendar tonight. I am very, very pleased to share that the Arrive Together program is coming to Morris Township. Arrive stands for Alternative Response to Reduce Instances of Violence and Escalation. It is a state program designed to head off violent confrontations between police and residents in a mental health crisis. In modern times, we ask law enforcement officers to undertake roles they never expected when choosing to serve as an officer. They are often marriage counselors, addiction specialists, or social workers. And increasingly, police are asked to act like doctors and psychiatrists as well, determining when a person might have a drug issue, a mental health condition, they might be experienced, etc. The New Jersey Attorney General's office is working to improve how law enforcement officers interact with members of the community suffering from mental and behavioral health emergencies. So I am happy to announce that we are now participating in the first pilot program that consists of Madison, Morristown, Morris Plains, and our town, and we will be sharing 1 resource officer. Very excited about that program coming to Morris Township. One last comment in general, the Morris Marketplace is growing in more ways than just new stores showing up. This past week, several children's attractions were installed in the park in the back of the mall, and I encourage everyone here to go visit it. I hope it'll be a destination for that neighborhood, but it is a really beautiful installation for our kids to play with in a way that causes them to think. And they call it, instead of calling it a park or a playground, they call it a thinkscape, because it's going to encourage kids to use their minds in order to work themselves through those attractions. So please, everybody go visit that. Public is encouraged to go visit the marketplace too. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Graysell. As far as updates, I too, it's actually been a pleasure working with Committeeman Gyorfy on the Finance Committee. Budget season is always busy, but it does afford us the ability to evaluate our priorities, allocate our resources efficiently, and ensure that we can provide quality services while minimizing the burden on our taxpayers. Each department has their specific goals, but we work collaboratively to reach the best outcome. We identify areas for improvement, optimize spending, and ultimately strive to achieve a balance between appropriate taxes and our excellent services. The Senior Citizens Advisory Group, one of the things I wanted to mention, Committeeman Ravitz and I had the pleasure of a ribbon cutting at Genesis Orthopedic and Spine, opening on Lindsley Drive, which is going to meet a lot of the needs of all our residents. Not for all ages, but especially too, they have many doctors there that are willing to come and do some sessions and speak to our seniors. We meet next week and are concentrating with the seniors on transportation, communication, and health resources. Our health department offers a series of programs for our seniors. Our year-end 2023 report will be coming shortly, and I'm just going to shout out here, that's being done by Kathy Wilson, who is on Zoom tonight and continues to not miss a Morris Township meeting, and which she began back at the end of 2012, early 2013. The Transportation Advisory Committee, I'd like to congratulate Andy Feldman on being named chair and thank Jim Hunt as our previous chair for all of his hard work during 2023. Morris Township in Motion will continue this year with a few new ideas to engage more of our residents. We're hoping to help coordinate the bike rodeo in warm weather, and we encourage you to brave the cold and go to the Winter's Farm Market at Convent Station at the train station parking lot from 9:30 to 1 on Sundays. TAC will have a table there, but our TAC members tend to like the warmer weather, so they wait till it starts to warm up a little bit. On TAC, we've reorganized our subcommittee groups to keep up with the changing needs of our community, and we look forward to contributing to our Complete and Green Streets policy work. As far as my commentary, I would like to send condolences on behalf of the Township Committee to Morris School District Superintendent Dr. Mucci on the passing of her mother. Please keep her and her family in your thoughts and prayers. I also have to thank DPW for their efforts and the excellent job they did on snow removal and keeping our streets clean. Thank you also to the students who ended up going over to Morris Muse and shoveling. And that again, Committeeman Gyorfy, thank you for helping get that up just in time.
Mr. Quinn was there with me shoveling and brushing off car windshields and sometimes playing valet too and moving cars for some of the folks too. So it was a good effort. We had a good turnout from the high school students.
Well, thank you, Mr. Quinn. And again, this just shows how everybody in the township, we all step up and jump in and try to help out.
A lot of fun.
I'm sure, yes. And again, we know that the students will be on hand if we have any other storms coming up. I'd also like to thank all of the volunteer applications. Thank you all for applying. Deputy Mayor Grazel just mentioned that we do have some openings, so please continue to fill out those applications, and we would love to see you on some of our committees. I'm part of a mayor's group, and it's where we discuss shared community concerns, and one of the big items that we are looking at is the legislative plan to overhaul affordable housing currently being proposed and navigating what the future holds, not only for our community, but our surrounding communities. We also discuss other issues and many of the concerns we see in our neighboring communities and working to find shared solutions so that we all benefit. One other thing I wanted to mention, Governor Murphy signed the new Voter Empowerment Act into law, which doesn't go into effect till 2026. This permits 17-year-olds to vote in primary elections if they will be 18 by the next general election. This is meaningful because it engages young people in our elections, strengthens our democracy, and helps build a lifelong habit of voting. Any way we can increase voter participation to take part in our democratic process is always positive. Although this doesn't start till 2026, hopefully it will engage our young people early and provide them with a continued path to participation in government in many other ways as well. In closing, I hope everyone stays warm and safe during this cold snap, and ask you all join in participating alongside the Township Committee in reaching our goals this year so we can help support you in reaching your goals for the coming year as well. We will now, there are 6 members of the public.
Mayor,
Yes.
I left one thing off my report. Could I just provide a brief update?
Absolutely,
please?
yes.
For the Cannabis Advisory Committee, which adjourned last year, our goal was to submit our final report by year end to then have published for the public in time for this meeting and in the record. We did submit the report by the end of the year, but we're currently having it go through all of our professionals and under legal review and reviewed for grammar and all that stuff. And so we will have that available for the public in a few weeks, hopefully, and it will be submitted for the record at the next meeting.
Thank you. We now are at our second public comment and inquiry. There are currently 6 members of the public joining us on Zoom. We will now open the meeting to the second public comment portion for general commentary. We will take comments from in-person attendees first and then switch over to Zoom. Please virtually raise your hand on Zoom if you would like to speak. State your name and address for the record before speaking. Please note that comments are limited to 5 minutes per speaker. If you have questions and you would like answered, your remaining time to speak will be yielded back for this purpose. Is there a motion to open the public comment?
So moved.
Second.
Mayor, all in favor?
Aye.
Are there any members who would like? Thanks. I do not see any hands raised. Is there anybody on Zoom who would like to make a comment?
Mayor, I move we close the public portion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The time is now 8:05. Can I have a motion to adjourn the regular session?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
The next regular Township Committee meeting will be held on Wednesday, February 21st, 2024 at 7 p.m. in person and via Zoom with a closed session at 5 p.m. We are adjourned.
Good night, everybody.
Well done, Mayor.